So if I had to start a new screen printing business from scratch and I had to rebuild my business all over again, what would I do to get my first sale, right? Would I put energy on getting sales, or would I learn the craft and then go out and get sales? So I'll be talking about that here in this video. Right. So my name is Gavin. I'm the founder of Seps.io. We help screen printers make more with less effort. Okay, so when I ran my shop, I had a shop for 7 years. When I ran my shop, here's what we did, right? So we had a heat press at home, and then we eventually went out and got screen printing training and got used equipment, and then uh, started learning the craft. Now, we got our first sale like this. So we got our equipment. We are offloading it onto our warehouse, and this happened to be in a warehouse district where there was other businesses there, right? So we offloading, we putting the equipment in, and somebody saw us. I'm guessing that person was curious, and they approached us. It was like, "Hey, what is this?" And I explained that it was a t-shirt making machine, and that we're gonna be printing t-shirt here. And then the guy was like, "Hey, I need some t-shirt. Do you mind printing them for me?" I was like, "Yeah, but we're not ready to print." He was like, "Yeah, take your time. Whenever you're ready, you can print the shirts for me." So that's how we got our first sale, actually. First sale for screen printing, right? So I'm sure a lot of people's experience are going to be completely different, and that sale is not just going to come to you just like that, right? So I'll be talking about here, how would I go about getting my first sale? Or would I put my energy on sales or learning the craft? So get sales, or put my energy on like the craft of just printing, right? So what would I do first? So when I started here, right, on learning the craft. And then my mindset was, hey, learn how to screen print and then go out and get sales. If I'm starting right now, I'm actually going to start here, right? Go out and get sales first, and then put energy on the learning the craft. It's just the order, like, or where to put your energy at first. A lot of folks start here where they learn the craft, and here's what tends to happen, and what I hear happen with a lot of screen printers, right? So we're excited to learn how to screen print, and we start here. I say this takes us 2 weeks to like really get going, sometime even a month, right? Right. And business needs sales and money. That's the lifeblood of business. Without money, you're not going to be in business, right? And you here, and you building your shop, you learning how to screen print. This is all good, right? And this is if you start and not knowing anything about screen print, and you go out and get a piece of equipment. What happens is, after you spend this, there's not like a magic switch that you could just check and then sales will just start flowing. It just doesn't happen that way. So once you kind of feel good and then you go out to get sales and the sales doesn't come, right? What happens is your confidence and you start to get discouraged, your confidence go down. And then just you are out of business before your business even start. Because in the beginning, you got to protect your confidence. You got to protect your just mentality. And what gives you the biggest boost is getting a sale and getting a deal closed, right? Because then you are doing what, in my opinion, what a business lives off of, right? Which is sales. You don't need screen printing equipment to do this. Like, you don't need screen printing equipment to get sales. You could get sales without screen printing equipment, and then outsource your first couple of jobs, and then go to the craft to start doing your thing. I say do it in this order mainly because of your confidence, right? Right? Because it's It's really actually pretty simple to just do this because you could just lock yourself up somewhere and like watch some YouTube videos, do some stuff, and get this going, right? Because this is all self. You could um you could do this all self without like too much outside input. But here you need to have somebody agree or transfer their money to you, right? In order to so how would you go about where would you go out and find your first sale? So let's talk about that. So actually, your everybody around your community needs t-shirts, right? Custom t-shirts. So a lot of your customers are already around. So if you're not sure what customer base that you're gonna get, and this is a lot of times going to happen naturally as you start to figure this out. But in the beginning, you may not know. There's a lot of places where you could go to get shirts that are all around your community, right? First thing, schools, right? Schools are easy ways to get sales. And here's how. Like a lot of schools, they have like government contracts. You may not be able to get those, but you could get some jobs out of in the school. If you have school age kids or anybody that's in your family that is school age, that's a is easy entry into the school, right? All you do is like get connected with that person's teacher, even if that person's or your family's teacher, then if they're not the decision maker, just work your way to the decision maker by starting with your teacher. Because every class they have class day, field trips, or some type of club, right? So you could get those jobs. A lot of the time they are already gonna have a screen printer already, those schools, but there's nothing to say that that teacher or that club cannot use you as a screen printer. So that's schools is easy way. Another thing, I actually overlooked this in the beginning. Restaurants. Restaurants are an easy way to get your first order. And here's what I actually overlooked it because a lot of restaurants, especially local restaurant, you see they're like a small restaurant, maybe a few people that's working in a restaurant. So you're like, they don't need a lot of shirts. So there's a few people. But actually they do, right? Even if it's a small crew of 5 people, that's like a decent sized order because every person that's in that restaurant need 3 to 5 shirts. And restaurant tend to turn over people fast. So they always need new shirts for this new guy that's gonna start, this new dishwasher, this new server, this cook, right? So restaurant is a good way to get your first order. And the decision maker is actually pretty simple to reach because a lot of the time they right there working in it as either the manager or the owner. If you support their business already, it's a natural thing. Um, Another thing that's where you could get your first order, churches, right? Churches, they consume a lot of shirts. Uh, there's a lot of events that they do at churches. Plus, they use this as a way to make money as fundraising. So if you could help the church make money, they'll give you your first order, right? Events. Events is another way where you could get your first order. Especially if you are in a major city. Major cities have all type of events, outdoor events, just events all over. So a lot of those type of events they need custom shirts. So your challenge here is to find the decision maker. This may be a little bit harder. Start with their social media, go to their website, and then work your way, right? And of course, there's a lot of other probably like organizations and like if you could find an organization, nonprofit or a local chamber, they could connect you to other businesses and other small businesses. They need they need t-shirts, right? So these are some ways where you could get your first order. Um, and this right here, it is going to require some leg work, especially in the beginning, uh, like doing it through like digital or through email may not be successful because you don't have a track record. You will need to go and just talk to the person, right? And your goal here is just to get a couple of orders. Like I would say 2 to 3 orders is sufficient, right? So once you get those orders, how do you fulfill? It's pretty simple. Just connect with a contract printer, right? And contract printers are screen printing shops that will take on jobs for you on a contract basis, meaning they'll give you a lower price or a contract price, right? So all you have to do is really look up, um, just go to your, just do a search on Google, screen printing shops near me, make a list, call them, hey, do you do contract work? If so, can you send me a price list? Some of them, they have limit, like they're very selective and some are not. And you could find maybe a smaller shop that is maybe starting out and you could use them as contract as well. So that's how you would do contract printing. Get your first few orders and contract it out. But how do you contract? How do you even like set this up? How do you even do the presentation and all that stuff? Right. So really, all you need to make this presentation or you in front of this person that you want to is really have a flyer with you or just something right in your hand. You don't, in my opinion, you don't want to walk in empty handed. Just use a flyer, right? And to make the flyers, actually, there's a lot of resources to do this. You actually, a lot of the major suppliers that sells t-shirts, blank t-shirts to the screen printing industries, in their websites, they have the they give you the ability to make presentations and flyers, right? So you could make a presentation or a flyer, and I would advise you to keep it as basic and as simple as possible. Don't get super complicated and fancy and show a bunch of shirts. Maybe pick like 3 shirts, like good, better, and best, right? A good shirt that's like at a value price in, but something that's a little bit better and like an expensive option, right? That's sufficient. Have 3 of those, print those out, and go, right? And your pricing is going to be based on what you're pricing your screen printer is going to print it for you, the cost of the shirt, and also the amount of money that you want to make on that. And if I'm in your position here, I'm mainly focusing about checking this off, right? So I would actually go aggressive on the pricing. You don't want to do that sustainably for a long time, but here in the beginning, go as aggressive as you can. I would focus so much on making lots of profit. It's mainly about showing that you could get that sale, that first sale. So that's what I would do if I was starting out to get my first sale, right? Go to one of these places, have a flyer in hand, and if you have a blank shirt in hand, even better, just so they could feel it, and then just make a case and then ask for the sale. You'd be surprised. They'll give it to you, especially if you already like frequent them, like in a restaurant or you're part of a church. They're gonna want to support you. Grab that first sale, sub it out. Once you get a few, then now move your energy towards the craft, right? Because then you've proved to yourself, like, okay, I could do this, right? Spend a couple of weeks, right, learning, and at the same time, I will split up your energy where you're learning and you also going after sales. Like half of the time is you learning the craft, half the time is you going after sales. Work it this way instead of like fully putting yourself here and then thinking you're gonna flip the switch and go get sales. That would be my advice on how to get sales. And when it comes to type of equipment that you would get, like it honestly really doesn't matter. I probably would stay away from used screen printing equipment in the beginning. Like buy a package from a reputable supplier, even like for manual screen printing. Um, all because you never know what the past owner did, and you need good registration. even if you're starting out with a starter set. Now, if you are in a position to buy an auto, I would buy an auto that is used, because most autos, they are just beasts and machines. They could just go for a long time. But manual screen printing are more, they're a little bit more sensitive, especially if you cannot get your registration. So my suggestion is team up with a supplier, local supplier, or one of the major suppliers. Get you a starter set. Depending what your budget is, do it that way. All right. So that's how I would go about doing this. If I had to start a new screen printing shop all over again, how would I get my first sale? All right. So my name is Gavin. I'm the founder of Steps.io. All right. So we create production ready artwork files at scale, and we do it at a fixed price for screen printers. So that way they just focus on running their business. In the next video, I'll be talking about more things I would do if I was starting a new screen printing shop. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.